Well, I think recently there was a rollout from this GPT-4, and I guess that's been bringing this conversation to the forefront as far as what can these new tools, what can they become in the future when it comes to how we interact with each other, in the way of work, in the way of socializing. These LLMs, I guess it's also bringing other questions as far as how is language, how do we learn, and also I guess imagination, because that's one of the things that's, I guess, here it's unique to people, and these LLMs, this AI, they still, we're assuming they still don't have the ability to create. So what is that? So there's a few questions that I would like to have one of these days, have a conversation, a back and forth as far as ping-ponging ideas when it comes to what it is to be a person instead of the artificial, because I know NeuroLink is also a new technology that is moving fast, and well, I guess, brings about these questions that I want to have a conversation about as far as how do we control our emotions, how do we control our tongue, what we say, what we don't say in the midst of these new technologies, including NeuroLink, because I guess they have made the connection between a human brain and a computer, but I don't know if anybody's mentioned this, but this is communication that's going from the brain to the computer to the outside world, so to speak. But information always moves two ways, right? When you are connected to the computer, you can put information in, but it can also give information out. And when the brain is connected to a NeuroLink, that NeuroLink is also connected to a mainframe, and information can be, like I said, I'm assuming it creates a two-way highway of information where it can go to and fro, I suppose. And what does that mean in the future, right? When our idea is going to be implanted without us knowing, if we are connected to the NeuroLink. Because again, this information is going to be shared with some artificial entity, some database, some kind of something, right? And information will be going to and fro, and what is going to be the original idea? Well, we know what if an idea is coming from us. I mean, we now have, before these new technologies, we were having a hard time distinguishing what was my idea versus an intrusive thought, right? Something that came from outside myself, right? What is we're being, for the Christian, we're being guided by the Holy Spirit, and we have to discern whether that is coming from the out, whether that's coming from the source of the creator or from the enemy, right? And the atheist point of view, I guess that's what we would consider intrusive thoughts, or these foreign ideas that are neither here nor there. Or maybe they are just our imagination. I guess it depends on who you ask and how do we really know these things. But so the other ideas as far as how do we control our emotions, because that's something that we still don't have a full grasp of, and how do we control our tongue, because was that something about loose tongues sink ships or something like that? And how do we grow in intuition? What is intuition? Is it something that comes from outside? Are we talking about metaphysics now, or is it something that's completely just from our imagination? And what is imagination? Again, why these ideas began to surface in my head, I guess, is because of this GPT-4, right? What is artificial? What is creativity? And then now we're engaging these technologies, and we're going back and forth, and pretty soon those new ideas, are they going to be coming from us with the NeuroLink? How we're going to be able to distinguish an intrusive thought from the NeuroLink thought implanted, if they're going to be implanted, right, from the Spirit of God, from the Holy Spirit. And how do okay, so the things that we've been battling with, right, with when it comes to knowing and thinking and philosophy, right, nihilism. Many people, the minute they say no, 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 there's no God, well then where's purpose, where's meaning, where's this battle of trying to become better if we're just going to die tomorrow, right? The nihilistic phase. So another thing with this AI, so new questions, or maybe the old questions resurface. What is agency? What is free will? Is there free will? How do we adapt? How do we learn? What's intuition? And what is creativity? What is the soul? Right? Anyways, we're going to have this information go to and fro with the NeuroLink, with this GPT-4, and later on GPT-5, and who knows what's coming next. So, what does the future look for us in 10 years, in 20 years? I have kids, so I have to ask these questions. I have to think about these things, whether I like to or not, because it's a reality now, right? These technologies are a reality. And when we're talking about purpose and metaphysics and God, I guess that's beyond our physical, right? And then we have to, let's bring it back to just the here and now. Influence, power, human nature, right? Take a look at any history book, any century. Pick your century, it doesn't matter. There's always someone. Okay, so who do we know about? Who's most people that are not historians or history buffs, right? Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Hitler, right? These people setting out to conquer, to get more land, to get more power, to get more resources, right? Just rewind the clock. You can go as far as you like. For me, the culture is the Aztecs, right? They were there. They were seeking to conquer, and they got conquered. And before they got conquered, they were conquering, and before them, it was somebody else. So that is our human nature, right? Power corrupts, absolutely, right? Those that are prone to that will seek it, will put themselves in place of leadership and power so they can manipulate for their own purpose, right? So these new technologies, how are people that are powerful, that in the past were conquering, like Genghis Khan and the Huns, or whatever you want to call it, these people that are going to set out to conquer, as they always have, they always will, how are these new technologies like NeuroLink and GPT-4 and 5 and whatever, how is a new conquering going to take place? Well, anyways, these are just some ideas that I would like to have to, just go back and forth and just, I don't know, see if something can come of it, see if we can get some answers. What do you think? What is purpose? Has it changed? If we pick up a book from 200 years ago, were their ideas of purpose, is it the same thing that we have now? When we read a book from 40 years from into the future, will the meaning of purpose, will it be different than our meaning of purpose? Will any of these things change once we connect it to the NeuroLink and the information is going to and fro, right, back and forth from this database, artificial or not, to our mind, back into the real world, and on we go. And when we start interacting with GPT-4 much more frequently, just like the smartphone, right? Before, when it was brand new, remember the flip phones, right? Before the applications were invented, before the iOS and all the app stores and all that stuff that's in it, before we used any of that, we didn't really use it because it wasn't even invented. Once it started hitting the market, some of us started using it, right? Could we foresee where we're at now? We didn't have these social networks before, right? Instagram and TikTok and all this other stuff. We didn't have that before the smartphone, right? We couldn't predict these things, but just in a short time, 20 years ago, I guess, here we are. Well, we're going to be 20 years from now with NeuroLink, right? There's some things that we don't see yet, how those are going to have their own apps, right? The NeuroLink app and all these other apps, and this information to and fro, and I don't know. So anyways, just some conversations that I would like to have. And I know there's a lot of people out there in the little corner of the internet, and so a lot of smart people, smarter than me, and much more eloquent speakers. And anyways, any thoughts, any questions, any suggestions? What do you think the future holds? Do you have kids? Maybe you have chosen not to have kids. Some people are going that way. That's, who am I to say what is and what is not, what is purposeful or not, right? I can, my opinions, who am I, right? My opinions are just that, my opinions. Anyways, shoot me a comment. If you are in the little corner, tell me your ideas, your questions, and maybe we can have a back and forth conversation or whatnot. If you think these are worthwhile, or if you, anyways, maybe you have ideas of your own that you'd like to share. Alright, that's it. Oh yeah, I should explain that the first post I was in a hotel, because I was traveling. This time my kids, they're doing homework. I don't want to interrupt their flow, and they do have the TV going. So this is going to be short because I think I'm going to have to go back and check in on them. My oldest one is 15, my youngest one is 10, so they're not toddlers anymore, which is a good thing. Because man, they don't call it a terrible tooth for nothing, right? It's a learning curve being a parent. What an awesome experience. And anyways, yeah, a lot of conversations to be had, I guess, to go back and forth, and we are creating a new interface, a new dialogue via this platform, I suppose. All right, thanks.